Hello, everybody. I'm Christina, and it is Sunday, 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, right now in South. And knowing how notifications are, I made sure I sent out the timing. So we'll see if we can get more of my subscribers and family in here this time. Let's see how it goes. Sunshine is here. Always, always. I'm so glad to see you, girl. Always so glad. Alrighty. A couple things I wanted to bring up before we get super duper started, just so everybody has a chance to get in real quick, is, just remind everybody to like, subscribe. You might want to share this video. And always, I love it when you comment. I want to thank everybody for helping to release me from shadow ban prison. It is because of you guys getting the word out that they can't suppress me forever. And it's kind of a nice feeling. It got a lot of love for you guys. Little announcements. Time to put my kittens up for adoption. I'm going to do that on Monday. And I actually saw one of the kittens get up on his hind legs, hug his mom, kiss her on the cheek, and then get down. I literally saw that. I couldn't believe it. We got Fiddlesticks here and Catherine, Lori. Welcome everyone that here joined Sunshine. Yes, they are. These babies are sweet. They're the ones that like literally hold your face and look in your eyes and just kiss you, kiss you, kiss you. My son, he's in junior varsity, my youngest one, and they just won their first football game on Thursday. Welcome, Clarissa. I'm so glad to see you. Of course, I am Shadow. My black cat has stolen my pillow. Welcome, Brennan Bear. Peace and shalom to you also. So glad to see everybody coming in. We got 7 people and 3 thumbs up so far. Local news here. I know I'm just really excited about these things. I'm almost done. The Houston Astros are American League champs. Back when I was growing up, Astros never got a good review. They always got a bad rap. American League champs. The article says they're advancing to the World Series for the 3rd time in the last 5 years, courtesy of KHOU 11. Oh my goodness, everybody around here is just screaming with excitement. It's good to have some good news and something good happening in the middle of what we're about to talk about. You got to learn to smell the roses, especially nowadays. You got to learn to take those moments that make you smile. You're going to need that to get through. Welcome, P for Plenty. God bless you also. Oh, yes, it is totally like Varsity Blues when it comes to football in Texas. All right, T. Okay, I'm going to give you a rundown of basically what's going on as a continuation in the news of some of the things we're going to be talking about that we've been talking about. But we're also going to see exactly where this is going. You're gonna. I think at least some of you are gonna be pretty surprised at some of the things that I'm about to say. Okay. We're gonna start with Timcast alerts us to an article titled "Food Shortages Are the Next Supply Chain Crunch." You're starting to hear more words like food scarcity. Preppers, we are totally aware of this, and we saw this coming. Holy Spirit had a lot to do with that. And in some cases, if you can understand farming, you can see that the crops weren't sustaining. Anybody that's really watching that had eyes to hear, eyes to see and ears to hear could see the supply crunch coming. But now they're saying it. Yeah, that's the next supply chain crunch. And that's an article that Timcast had pointed to. So you might want to check that out if you want. The Common Sense Show reports anti-food hoarding law and believes that rationing is on the horizon. And I think he's absolutely correct. We'll find out a little bit more as we continue on. The U.S. Treasury deputy warns that unstuck Americans, he warns these unstuck like people like me, a lot of you guys that don't have that cootie stick. He's warning Americans that shortages will continue, threat, until everyone is jabbed. Listen, I knew this serial murder, right? And just told me one day, it just blew my mind. And I think I'm just going to tell you the same thing. Take it to heart. This is what he said. Sometimes it's exactly what it looks like. Not everything is a conspiracy theory. Not everything should be just written off. What you see and what you believe you're seeing and what it means, that's exactly what it looks like. All right? They're warning you. If you don't do what you're told, if you don't submit to our control, this supply shortage issues that you're suffering, well, it just can just go on and on. And, what do they care? They've got stocked bunkers to go to, probably with French maids. Okay? And New York, they're having a good time. It's mandating cootie sticks for all. Mandating no matter your religious or your medical issues. They don't care. Railroad strike in the rumor mill. It's in the rumor mill. They're talking about it, and we better pray to God that they do not do that. Seriously, because who's that really going to hurt? You think it's going to hurt the government? No, it's going to hurt us. It only came out in the news a few days ago that Union Pacific trains would help ease the cargo congestion. So it's like, oh, we might have a way to get out of it. Oh, they're talking about a strike, and it probably has something to do with Biden and his interest in unions lately. Okay, I don't think he's looking to partner with them. I think he's looking to own them, to put them under his thumb. Okay, let's go ahead and check the chat super duper fast. Yes, we will show that, Clarissa. Thank you, Adrian. Welcome. I'm so glad to see you again. I love it when you're here. Thank you so much. Yes, Jehovah provided for Moses and Israelite in the wilderness. Those obedient will be taken care of. I think that some of that obedience was when we were told to prepare. Did we obey him when he said that? And otherwise, there's only so much you can prepare. And at that point, that's like stepping off to walk on water. You have to have faith, right? So yeah, he can take care of us. But we have to trust him and be obedient in all things. AA strumming, Fiddlesticks, what if the girl took it? Okay, that was for Fiddlesticks. Welcome all the world to stage. Hello, I'm glad you're here. I will tell Taco you said hello. He's going to be adopted soon. Hope everyone's ready for civil war. You might not be far off forever surveillance, because we're going to be talking about that too. Okay. Hi, all the world is safe. Okay. Please protect your children the next few weeks. No joke. Do not do hell. Okay. Keep your children safe. All these things must be. The end is not yet. All right. We're going to continue, because I'm alerting you to all these things to lead up to a point. All right. Because now, they're threatening us with shortages unless we do what they say. The railroad might be an issue. Shortages of workers are giving government reasons to send in groups like the National Guard. And Mike from around the world beat me to it, but I was noticing it too. I was like, they give these people ultimatums, they make them quit, then it opens up these holes where the National Guard is implemented, and could be other military kind of bodies that step in and start taking over, like they already are, deliveries of mail, food. So you see how they're slipping into communication, to food, all supply necessities, how they're just kind of slipping into those roles. It's there. You can see it. It's subtle, but it's there. And it's starting with something like the National Guard, but there's something, and the Army. We'll talk more about that. Oh, it's all tied together. Next, Biden wants to send the National Guard to the congested ports of California, Australia, and when I saw this on Paul and Adrian's channel yesterday, I just was instantly up in arms that Australia is building camps for the purebloods, meaning that's where this is going. And they've been warning Americans and Canadians and other countries, hey, this is coming for you. Take a good look. And now they're building that because according to the woman who was talking about it in charge in Australia, she's saying she didn't necessarily just exclude it to the cootie stick. If you listen, she said, I feel like we will have the need in the future, including this. But we all know in the Bible, there are fifth seal martyrs and there's plenty of people that get beheaded, right? So she's saying, I can see a need for this in the future. That's a wide umbrella, all right? I want y'all to pay attention to Australia, because I think that what is happening here, and I think I can prove by the end of this, is it's connected to what's going on in Australia. We're already in the process of a serious takeover under certain guys. Australia is building those camps, but so is America. Those videos, you have to find them, but they are there. They're in these remote locations, like out in the desert or up around Alaska. I mean, just out in the middle of nowhere locations, and they're going up fast. All right. So while we have these congested ports in California that they need to send the National Guard to, for a week, Florida has been urging cargo ships to come to their ports to avoid the congestion in California. And it causes you to notice that there is a difference in the way that states are conducting their business. Now, for anybody who decides to open up their ports, especially during a time of economic crisis, it will bring revenue to these surrounding areas where these ports are, the more that open up, and it'll get what's it called, the supplies, the goods in that they might need. Okay, that would give them a safety net, really, a really, really good one too. And Florida's working on that. They're hoping that some of the ships will consider going south through the Panama Canal and then head up through the Gulf of Mexico and just unload, I believe that there are other ports on the East Coast that are starting to talk about it too, like the Carolinas or something. But for sure, Portland, Oregon is already very busy unloading cargo ships and making some good money in the process, which is boosting their economy. Oakland, Oregon is begging cargo ships to come their way after a loss of confidence. The port feels they successfully worked out worker shortage issues. They already have 2 shipping companies now sending all of their ships to this port, and they're hoping to get that confidence back up in the shipping companies. Which it looks like this is a good time, because now they're starting to mention shoe shortages. Okay, we're gonna have to get creative making some shoes. You ever seen those survival shows where they weave together pieces of grass and tie it to their feet and stuff? Might be in our future. Do you know any shoe repair people? They might become super important again. Just saying. Okay, because what jobs Americans don't take, we're looking at the government to take those jobs. That's a takeover. That's control. The more that the government is in control of everything that people will do, means that we have zero control. None. All right. The government's slipping in. And biblically, it's going to get worse than that, because they're saying there's going to be a famine of the word as well, which is not just implying that a lot of people have fallen away, but it also implies in the future that there will be Bible banning in our future. If you get caught with a Bible, etc., 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 consequences. Okay, let's take a look at the chat. Okay, we got 20 people here. Need a good water filter? I think we all do. Eek, I'll be out there in my flip-flops, right? Stock flip-flops. Albert Einstein said World War III will be fought with tech never be seen. Sticks and stones. The government isn't our friend. No, they're not. Yet, I've heard soldiers say when you're in war, always keep extra socks. Dry socks. It's key. Okay, then they're talking about the People's Ledger, which basically would abolish our bank accounts and put everyone into a digital one world currency. So you see the pages of the Bible are really coming to life. There are all these dominoes, all these switches are all just clicking right into place, falling right into place. Jason Abe reported the fiery rocks sailing through the skies now, which, talking about wormwood, that's coming eventually. So we already know they're starting to make their entrance. After months of being warned, this could be the beginning of an increase in the sightings and impacts to Earth. They've been warning us all year. Now, after everything that you've just heard, this is where it leads up to, all right? Operation Dark Winter, as explained by YouTube channel Audiopedia on November 4th, 2015. Before any of this cootie nonsense started, this was already published. This was just her article, but the actual operation had been conducted June 22nd to June 23rd of 2001, like just months before 9/11. All right. Now, I did leave this her link in the description box. And this is basically going to be cliff notes. All right. In her description, she says it's a mock version of a covert meaning sneaky, and widespread smallpox attack on the United States. Now, you can insert whichever illness is present in the place of smallpox. Operation was conducted in 2001. It was a bioterrorist bioweapon attack simulation. All right. Designed to study the inadequacies of national emergency preparedness and response against the use of a biological weapon against the U.S. on the populace. On the populace. Pretty much what's going on now. But see, they were looking to study our weak points of national emergency preparedness and response. They wanted to study specifically that. Look for the weak link. But you don't necessarily get that. You have to learn how to read between the eyes with these things. They say it was to put in place preventative measures by increasing populace and government awareness. In this simulation, it is supposed to spread without control to the dismay of the government, who would have no choice but to get involved, since the hospitals would be so busy they couldn't contain it, which is what media was claiming for at least a year over this issue. And even if they had to make it look that way. And we saw it, okay? This operation would literally exploit the inability to contain the illness. They're looking to exploit that. They're looking for weak points. They are anticipating, or they were, widespread panic would cause widespread social breakdown and mob violence. I mean, these guys could be prophets, right? Exploits would include the many difficulties the media would face trying to provide necessary safety procedures. I mean, come on, this is just eerie, right? There would be mass casualties. And I don't think that was just what they meant from the illness, that it, like the whole from beginning to end kind of thing, It was more of a general statement there, I think. It could threaten national security. Think about that. They knew it would threaten national security, and they're looking to exploit. Possible breakdown in vital institutions, causing faith in government to wane, such as, institutions that are vital, such as the shipping, the farms, oil and gas, cyber hacking the water, and the power of the U.S. dollar. Civil disorder to follow, as well as a violation of democratic processes, meaning there will have to be a few traitors in the bowl. There would be shortages of the cootie stick and other medications, not just that, but of other medications. And there are. People become desperate out of panic to get the stick. Federal and state priorities may conflict or differ. Constitutional issues may arise. Now, this was written, this whole thing started in 2001. Why is it happening exactly like this? And it just goes on a little. It goes on. All right. Constitutional issues may arise. And you got, what was it, Pelosi saying the Constitution is just a piece of paper? Come on now. It's happening. The federal government would feel that control of the issue is best left in their hands to give the president maximum control over the military and public safety assets. He wants control over the military and the public assets. They would have to prioritize who received the stick first, have they not? In fact, Jen Psaki was saying that they had, it was almost exactly her words. We have to prioritize, and who can get it and what the availability is. I mean, she's reading right from the script. There would be arguments from the state about federalizing the National Guard. Now, we were just talking about the National Guard, right? About how they're using that. Let me go back up to my notes about the National Guard, how they're slipping them in already. Shortages of workers are giving the government reasons to send in groups like the National Guard and Army. He wants to send the National Guard to the congested ports of California. So see, that's being slipped in there. Okay. But that's why they're talking about here in the Dark Winter operation notes that they were already talking about federalizing the National Guard when they are needed for logistical and supply problems. Federalization of the National Guard can be activated by who? The president. They were anticipating, counting on everyone, including the healthcare system, that we would all be unprepared, which is why they want you to be unprepared, which is why you're hearing the hoarding, slander, and accusations against preppers. You check the chat super duper fast. 40 people almost. Thank you for all the thumbs up, y'all. Fiddlestick says, I just heard a scientist guy talking about this illness and jab were created from an embryo. All I needed to know was gain of function from Fauci. That right there was like, okay, yeah, because this was usually just in animals before. Okay, look like everything's going good so far. We're going to continue. So yeah, they were counting on you to be unprepared. So however much they try to say, well, we're in control and this and that and the other, they do a nice dance of fear porn and we're in control, right? But now it said that they would need the media to control things like information, misinformation, their idea of procedural safety. And that also included the slander that preppers are getting, because the more that you are dependent on the government, the more control they can get over you, right? Like selling your birthright for a bowl of soup, because they want you to be like asleep so that you really don't prepare, even if you have the means to. And they're also trying to turn the population. See, a lot of people don't like to blame themselves. So these same people that won't listen, they're going to justify their anger at themselves, but point it at anybody, who did prepare ahead of time. And it's like they're programming people to do that. They're already suggesting, say, hey, don't look at us and what our hand was in all of this. Don't even look at yourself. Look at the hoarders. Not the appropriate name of what we are. We are preppers. All right. Whew. Okay. There's more though. They anticipated challenges in doctors making correct diagnoses. during this pandemic. And rationing scarce supplies combined with shortages of healthcare staff. They knew this 20 years ago. Shortages of healthcare staff. So they knew they'd be exploiting that weakness and slipping in people, right? Military, nurses, blah, blah, blah. Because the illness could travel so fast and far away, it is then suggested that tracking would have to come into the picture. And I bet they're like, ha, 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 ha. You know, tracking would have to come into the picture that included those that had the stick. Communication and information management would be critical. For example, participants worry that it's impossible to force mass cootie stick or travel restrictions on the people without their cooperation. And of course, we've had a lot of people saying, no, I'm not going to cooperate. But they still had a plan even for that. The people would have to be persuaded that the procedures are for the general safety of the population and that the government is firmly in control. They would have to persuade you, whether it be by Krispy Kreme, free shots of whiskey, $100 bill, or, you know, bullying, shaming you, slandering you, firing you. We could persuade you that this is still for your general good. And how can you be so selfish and stubborn, right? Quarantine. Now, this is where it goes next, because we've experienced all this stuff. This was in their plan. And we're starting to see these, what do they call them? You know, just all kinds of different names for these quarantine camps, wellness centers, stuff like that. Quarantine of general affected areas is suggested, which meaning this certain area, there may be a mix of sick and non-sick, but they're going to quarantine whole areas. They're going to imprison you. And of course, the very next thing they're talking about is rationing will be implemented, creating more conflict. So what we have to look forward to is quarantining, rationing, and that military control, martial law. Get used to seeing armies in your neighborhood, and they'll come in nice and helpful, okay, so that your brain associates them with things that make you feel good, like food and medicine, all right? But at the same time, they're following somebody's order. They want to come in, and they want to come in the name of peace first, to make your guard go down and to use your desperation and your panic against you, your weaknesses. They want to exploit your gullibility, the fact that you may not be very well educated or knowledgeable or just plain naive about this. They're counting on it. They're counting on the selfish mentality of getting more loans and maxing out your credit cards and, you know, being able to buy stuff. All right. I mean, what do you think they're doing when they say get what you need by Christmas? Christmas is a time when people buy a lot of stuff. Okay. It's ingrained in a lot of people spending. But if they threaten that comfort zone, even a place of joy for a lot of people, that can cause stress, panic buying. It can cause a lot of problems, and that's exactly what it's doing. But see, some of this hasn't been finished yet, as you can see. Line for line, letter for letter, this has been happening exactly as they, I guess, had visions of. No, obviously this was done on purpose. You know, if you think it sounds scripted or looks scripted, well, guess what? It really is. It absolutely is. So we're looking at quarantine, martial law, and rationing. Okay. Say 48 in the chat. Welcome. Good. Yes, welcome everybody. Hello, Tim Giddy. What do you mean? Okay. Yeah, in New York, DJ, they don't care about these exemptions. They're just really overstepping their power in the name of safety. They're threatening everybody. And if you didn't get to watch the beginning of this video, you might want to, I mean, I'm not just talking to you, but everybody, y'all might want to check it out, because really, this is scary. It's scary, but it's also better to know than to be blindsided, because there's a lot of decisions and options that you have to weigh for you, your family, etc. Hello, Carmen from West Texas. Okay. Yes. Or maybe, start sending the exemption forms in like an email too, or like make it in a PDF that somebody could download and print maybe at their own house. That would be really cool, actually. Hope he doesn't cave. He is 2 years. Yeah, and see that was the one thing about that the whole operation hinged on, that they finally realized. I'm glad that you brought that up, because it turned out that getting people to cooperate was key. And that's why they have these measures to keep you under control while they exploit the situation to slip in and get that control. But they're counting on you not to be prepared. They're counting on you to panic. They are counting on the masses to be pit against each other, stuck and unstuck, whatever, right? The hoarders, versus the non-prepared, overconfident. You know what I'm saying? I'll go live with my grandma people. They're pitting people against each other, using carnal desires. There's nothing religious about what they're doing. Oh, lip service. I'm glad God woke you up. Thank God. See, he is good. He is a good father. Do I know how long after the jab does shedding begin? From what I understood, it was right away. That's from what I understood. There's a creature with it. Yep, they found that, Clarissa. All right. So understand that a lot of what they're doing is to control you. They're even using fear of people calling you names and coming against you to coerce you and bully you into making decisions just out of fear. They also know, and if everything else was right, then this is true too, and I believe it. As long as we don't put up with this and we don't back down and we stand our ground, it's going to be impossible for them to finish trying to complete what they want to do. Everybody's going to have to stand up, and I'm talking in prayer too. Oh, wow. Everybody, gosh, 70, 68, 69 people made it. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to go ahead and go for now. And I want to let y'all know that I will be coming on every Sunday at 4 o'clock, just like today, Central Standard Time. So, if you don't know for certain when all of my videos are going to be, for certain from now on, Sunday at 4 o'clock, I'll be here. All right. And I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for coming. And I will see you next time. Bye.